everyone, it's Lexi, and I'm going to talk to you guys about college today, because I go to college, and I applied to college not too long ago, and I know everyone's probably stressing out and probably procrastinating applications, so here I am. I feel like a good time to start looking at college is probably sophomore year or junior year. Junior year is probably like the more serious time to look at colleges because sophomore year, I feel like when I was looking at colleges in my sophomore year, I was just kind of like, yeah, that'd be cool to go there. I don't really know if I'll go there. That'd be cool. And you don't really know your GPA or like SAT scores at that point. So, well, you do know your GPA a little bit, but you don't know like your exact GPA for like when you apply, and you don't know your test scores, which like when you get your test scores, it's gonna help a lot when you look at colleges. And when taking tests, take both the SAT and ACT because they're both important, and you will probably score better on one than the other. Even if you don't, it's just better to take both. Okay, so just to start this off, I am not a college counselor, I am not a guidance counselor, I really don't know much about colleges, I just somehow got into one, and I was applying this time last year, so if I give you wrong advice, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure most of my advice is kind of good, so I hope you guys get into college no matter what. So when you start looking at colleges, you'll probably look at college fairs and then go to like campus visits and stuff like that. That's a good start. Do that. You gotta visit your college before you actually go there. Believe me, I know some people that didn't do that. Doesn't work out that well. Not that it doesn't work out well, like you honestly probably could not visit your college and do fine for the next 4 years, but you really should visit a college before you attend there. So what you need to do is probably make a list for yourself, and I'll tell you what my list was for what you personally want in a college experience, all that. So this was my list, and none of this, like, at all, was set in stone. Like, I could not go into a school and be like, I'm not gonna go here because it's not medium-sized, or like, I'm not gonna go here because like it's not in this region of the part of the country that I want to be in. Which, like, I feel like you might want something set in stone. There's one thing on here that I think was, like, two things. So, like, I definitely knew I wanted to go out of state for college, and I definitely wanted to go somewhere with cold, like, with warm weather, but the warm weather one wasn't even set in stone, so I guess out of state was the only one that was set in stone. So that narrowed it down just a little bit for me because there's a million out-of-state schools and not a million in-state schools. But this was my list. And as I said, like, none of this was set in stone. Like, the college I go to now doesn't even meet all this criteria, so I wanted to go to school out of state. I wanted warm weather. I wanted a medium-sized college, like, as a student body. Like, a school that was like 10,000 to 15,000. About. I obviously looked at price when I was looking at colleges because you need to discuss that with your parents. You just need to know what your price range is when you're applying to colleges, because it's easier than when you apply to college and you fall in love with the college and then you realize you can't afford it. So just do that when you're applying to colleges instead. I wanted it to be within an hour of a city, like driving distance. I wanted a football team / school spirit, and I wanted Greek life and study abroad opportunities. So I wanted all that in a college. Like I said, like, no college could probably meet all that criteria, so if I would visit school and if it didn't have Greek life, that wouldn't be like, oh, I'm definitely not going here then. Or if like a school didn't have a study abroad program, then I wouldn't be like, oh, I can't go here. It was never set in stone, that list. So that was just my list when I like started looking at colleges. I made that list. I started looking into applications August of my senior year, and by then I already visited like 10 schools or so. I visited a lot of schools during my junior year and during the summer of my junior / senior year summer. I went on vacation in August, and right after that vacation I started like looking into schools to apply to and stuff, and I think the Common App opened then, and I wrote my Common App essay during the summer, but I didn't submit any of my Common App applications until I want to say like October, because most of the early action there's another thing. So most of the early action applications aren't due until November 1st or November 15th. So I didn't want to like rush my application just because I wanted to get it in. So I ended up not applying to schools right away. So I waited till like October. My teachers read I literally had everyone I knew read my college essay, but I did use the essay I wrote for every college I applied to, or I used the essay I wrote for every college that had an essay portion I applied to. Because it was a Common App essay, that's how I did it. So it wasn't because I was just lazy and like somehow finagled it into every prompt that it had. Every college that I applied to didn't have an essay prompt with their application, or it was all the Common App. So if it did have an essay prompt, it was one of the it was like on Common App, so I would just send it with the Common App. I applied to almost all of my schools early action, and I didn't apply to the school that I go to now early action. Or my top two I didn't apply to early action actually. I applied to 9 schools by November, and I thought those were just the 9 that I would apply to. Like, I thought I would go to one of those 9, and I had my list. Like, that was my list. Okay, in the end, I did apply to 11 schools, but I got accepted to 9. The colleges I applied to and got into are Marshall University in West Virginia, University of Maine, West Virginia University, High Point University, University of North Carolina, Greensboro, Quinnipiac University, Utah State, and Lynchburg College. So a total of 9 colleges. Pretty good, pretty good. I got rejected from Drexel, but I applied as nursing, and I'm not a nurse, so it doesn't really matter. But I also applied to Stonehill College in Boston/Easton, and honestly, that school is like 2,000 students anyway, so I knew I wasn't probably going to go there, but I got waitlisted there, and I took myself off the wait list once I knew where I was going to college. I kept all of my applications and all of my stuff in a binder like this one. This isn't the binder I had. I honestly don't know where it went. I haven't applied to colleges in like a year now. On the binder it had stuff like my school, like on the front page of the binder, I made like a list of like where I wanted to be within each month. Like I said like in September I wanted to finish the Common App, and then this month I wanted to finish this one, I want to do this, I want to do this. Like it was just goals I had to reach by a certain month. It wasn't even due dates really, because it was more like goals for myself. I had a binder like this, and in the binder I have nothing in this binder, but in the binder I had folders for each college just so I could store my acceptance letters, like my applications, everything high and low college wise. And in the binder I also had a sheet of paper that I wrote stuff like my social security number on, which I actually applied to 2 colleges with the wrong social security number. I found out before all of my application stuff went in. Okay, so Utah State, which was actually my top choice in the beginning, one of my top choices, and Marshall University, I applied to both of those with the wrong social security number. I can't believe myself. They were both not on the Common App, so I must have just, I don't know, I think I just like forgot a digit or something. I don't know what happened. I thought I had it memorized. I didn't have it memorized, and I applied with the wrong social security number. Not a big deal. Don't worry. Colleges are very understanding. I got accepted to both of them, clearly. I literally was so worried when I found out about that, though. So, and when I, like, had the wrong social security number, I contacted them, and I faxed my social security card to them, so it was no big deal. It wasn't bad at all, but at the time it seemed like the end of the world, because I was like, if I can't even send them the right social security card, like, or number, how am I supposed to like get into this college? Like, they're gonna lose all faith in me. And I printed out all my applications just because it's like good to have a spare set of them, and in case like a college ever calls you and has like a question about your application, like you have it. It's just easier that way. Although I did apply to all of my colleges online, so I had to like take screenshots of it. Yeah, that's about college applications and such. I really don't know what else to say. I used the Common App for most of my applications, so I like don't think I'm actually qualified to tell you like how to write a college essay, because I don't even know how I got into most of my colleges. So I think one thing I will say is the reason I applied to West Virginia and Alabama is because I got denied from Drexel that day, and I was like, I really don't want to go to a city school anyway, and I didn't apply to any big schools other than Utah State, and I loved Utah State, I really did. I honestly thought I was going to go there for a while. They did give me a scholarship and everything, and in the end I just kind of figured that it wasn't for me, and it is really far, and the weather is not ideal, so there was a lot that it didn't have on my list that others did. So, what school did I choose? What school do I go to? You probably already know, because I uploaded a dorm tour that has the dorm building in it, so if you wanted to know, you could probably already find out. But I go to Bama. Yep, I go to the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa and all that. I don't think I could see myself at a different school, and when I went to the campus, I just knew it was the right fit for me, and I knew I wanted to go there, so that's how I ended up in the University of Alabama. It was one of the farthest schools I applied to, and if you're stressed about the college application process, don't be. This is just a few short months of your life that you have to get through, and you'll end up, like, I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. Like, from the start, Drexel was never my number 1 school, but I don't think my parents would have allowed me to apply to 2 other schools if I didn't get rejected from one of the ones that I had. So I'm glad that I did get rejected, just so I could apply to more. And my top 3/4 schools that I applied to were, in the end, Alabama and West Virginia were like my top 2 schools in the end. In the beginning of my senior year, it was Utah State was one of my honest to God top schools, and High Point. So I think it just kind of flopped, and in the end, like, I guess High Point would be my 3rd choice. But if you look at like the 3 schools that were my top choices, and then High Point University. High Point University is a small school that's a private school in North Carolina. Well, it's honestly a great school, like, nothing against it, it's just it didn't fit what I was looking for in a college. And I'm so happy that I ended up choosing a big school, because I feel like you can make a big school feel small, but you can't make a small school feel big. And I really do love the school spirit behind my school, so I hope this video helped. If you want any more advice / college / anything videos, I'll probably make more, to be honest. I'll probably make like a day in the life, or like how I ended up choosing my college, because I feel like that's a video that has to be made, because once I got into all my colleges and didn't know which one I wanted to go to, it was kind of nerve-wracking, because I'm like, I'm into all of them, but I still haven't decided. So I'll make a video on that if you want me to. I'll make more videos on college if you want me to. Alright guys, I hope you guys get into all the colleges you applied to, and if you don't, it's not the end of the world. But see you later. Bye!